What is up there, guys? This is Cobb and welcome to a much anticipated vlog. Well, maybe not really, but it's a little bit late. It's been a busy time. Christmas happened, all that good stuff. It was kind of like a crappy Christmas in my house, man. God, like, my dad was ill for the entire time, just couldn't get out of bed. My mom fucking got up in the morning, she was like, oh, well, fuck it, I won't go into that, but, you know, she's got issues on her side of the family going on, so she had to, like, take off really early in the day to take care of shit. It was just me and my brother, just having a pint in the living room for, like, most of the day. The day picked up after that. It was an alright Christmas, to be honest. Plenty of drink was consumed. And then I started to get ill as fuck. Oh man, I don't know whether I caught like a slightly weak strain of the flu, you know, that my dad had, or whatever. But I was sick as a dog, so fuck, I couldn't get around recording any vlogs then because, you know, if my nose wasn't running, my nose was bleeding, and if my nose wasn't bleeding, my fucking head was just pulsating in bed, you know. It is right now the 5th of January. 2018, god damn, man. You know, I was gonna do like a New Year's resolutions video, but I realized that I don't really have any. I'm quite happy with where I am right now. I'm happy with where I'm going already. I don't think I need to make any New Year's resolutions. And fuck, why wait for the new year anyway, right? Why wait for the new year to start making changes and stuff that you want to your life? And fuck it, I guess it's a trigger for some people and helps some people out, but I'm not gonna be doing that this year. Fuck it, my New Year's resolution is to stop being a lazy motherfucker and start to take this goddamn Christmas tree down, dude. You guys can see it in the mirror. Kind of getting reflected through, I think. Yeah, it's like where my hand is right now. It's right here, man. It's making me feel all claustrophobic now, you know? Gotta take that shit down. Anyways, in this video, there's a brief intro. In this video, we're gonna answer a couple of questions. Yeah, we're gonna get around answering these right now. Starting with Mr. Reed's question. I got a question here from Reedz. He says, do you regret anything in life? And do you wish to go back in time and set things right? So this is the kind of thing that, you know, I used to think about this quite often. If I could go back, my immediate answer would always just be yes. Fuck yeah, man. As long as I could keep my current brain that I've got now, you know, and know all of the things that I know now. So I think that that's kind of cheating. If I could go back and change anything, yeah, I used to say yes. I used to like to think, man, how cool would it be to, like, go through fucking school and just know everything, just be a total fucking god. Just, you know, that asshole teacher that was just a dick to you when you were like fucking 8 or 9 years old. Like, what the fuck were they thinking? They were being such a prick to you and stuff. Because, man, we've all had teachers like that, man, who were just total assholes. And you could just rip them a new asshole. Like, you could just destroy them. Because they're just thinking you're some dumb little kid, you know? But really you're smart as fuck and you could just wreck them. And dumb stuff like that, you know? But thinking about it seriously, thinking about it honestly, I was thinking about the old, stereotype answer, right? Oh, I wouldn't change anything because that would change who I am today, you know? Like, blah, 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 blah. I am who I am today because of the past and all that bullshit, you know? But it's actually a decent answer. That's a decent answer for a couple of reasons. So I just want to break that down a little bit because thinking about it, yeah, I agree with that. I wouldn't change a damn thing. Would I change a damn thing? No, man. No, I really don't think that I would. I don't think that I would. First of all of the good things that have happened, and the things that are in my life right now that I love, people and things that I love that are in my life right now, you know? I obviously wouldn't want to change those for a damn thing. Why would I, right? And the things that have happened in the past that sucked, that weren't good, that weren't cool, did make me who I am today. Think about it for a second, right? If you actually went back in time, and let's just say hypothetically, you took the 10 things in your past that you could just change and set right and make it so that they never happened, right? Things that fucking sucked. It might be, you know, you might pick like 2 or 3 really embarrassing moments where, oh man, oh god, you don't even like to think back to it because it was just so fucking painful. Maybe times where you physically hurt yourself, or where you hurt another person, where you betrayed somebody, you told a lie that came back to fucking bite you in the ass. Just really, really bad things, really negative things that caused a lot of suffering to you or other people that you cared about in the past. If you went back and you undid all of those things, okay, I mean, there are some cases that I'm sure some of you guys are going to think of where you think, well, yeah, they didn't help me grow as a person, and they caused nothing but suffering, and I wish that it could go back and change those, and maybe there are some fringe cases like that. But every scenario that I can think of that maybe I would, maybe that I could go back and change, would just result in me being a weaker person today. A big part of life is just suffering, man. And that sounds really kind of, what's the term for that? Like nihilistic? Is it nihilistic? Whatever, man. That sounds really bad. It sounds really pessimistic or nihilistic, if that's the right word, right? Life is fucking suffering. A big part of life is suffering. But equally, a big part of life is coming through a really bad experience, soaking in a fuck ton of suffering and a fuck ton of really bad shit, and coming out on the other side with your head held high and your shoulders back, ready to conquer whatever the fuck comes next, right? Because when you go through something really, really shitty, you learn a lot and your skin gets thicker, okay? If you spend all of your life avoiding shit like that, or if you go back in time and you undid all of the things that you really regret, or things that you did that scared the shit out of you, or things that you did that really embarrassed you or caused you a lot of pain, if you went back and you undid all of those things so that they just never happened, right? Do you know how much character you would actually lose in the present? Like when you, like, the big flash happens and suddenly you're back in the present. It's almost like if you've seen the movie The Butterfly Effect. If you've seen the movie The Butterfly Effect, you go back, change one little thing, you come back to the present. Oh my god, man, everything is so fucking different, right? It wouldn't be quite on that level, but I'm a firm believer that if you shelter yourself like that, and if you really avoid undergoing these experiences that could cause a lot of pain, and, you know, could cause a lot of suffering, if you stop yourself from doing things that could backfire, essentially, and do sometimes backfire, then that's a recipe for just generating anxiety within yourself, right? If you think about bad experiences as, you know, like a haunted house on the hill, right? Ooh, you don't want to go there, right? It's a haunted house on the hill. It's a dark cave in the middle of the woods that no one dares go in, right? It's much, much better to just, how do I fucking put it? Yeah, I think that the horror movie analogy is a good thing, right? So for bad experiences like that fucking spooky ass haunted house, it's way, way better to at least go into the fucking haunted house, face whatever's there, have the shit scared out of you, or whatever bad thing is gonna happen in there, and then come out on the other side stronger, right? Like tempered steel, you know what I'm saying? It's much, much better to have just done that and gone through that shitty experience than arriving at the door of a haunted house and running for your life, and you never even get to see what's inside. You never even get to see what's inside. You never get to conquer those demons, you know what I'm saying? Because then what's gonna happen is that's gonna become your natural built-in response. Because that's what anxiety essentially is, right? You have people like who are agoraphobic, who are like too afraid to leave their house. People who are really like socially anxious, stuff like that. These are generally people who have avoided the haunted house on the hill. These are generally people who've avoided situations that frighten them, and that just becomes their natural built-in response, like I'm saying. Man, we're going off on a huge fucking tangent right now. Yeah, actually, to round off the analogy, to round off like the horror house on the hill analogy, have you ever noticed in scary movies that you watch a fucking scary movie? I am a shitty ass when it comes to scary movies, dude. My imagination runs wild. I'm fucking crapping myself, man. I'm always the one who jumps out of his skin at the jump scare. I'm the fucking guy who I'm like shielding my eyes in the middle of a really suspenseful scene like that, you know what I'm saying? Everyone thinks I'm a fucking idiot. But have you ever noticed when you're watching a horror movie, if you're like me and you're really scared of that shit, as soon as you see it, as soon as you see the crazy poltergeist or the demon ghost or whatever, you know, as soon as you see the fucking thing that has been hunting down this group of teenagers or whatever for the whole movie, it's not that scary anymore. It's not that scary anymore, man. And I think that it's the same thing with bad experiences in your past, man. If you spend all your time trying to run away and avoid these bad situations, or if you go back in time and you fix all these bad situations, you're gonna find that you're actually just a lot more fragile of a person. And you're much more high-strung, and you're much more, yeah, thin-skinned, you know what I'm saying? Whereas if you actually just confront the demon in the Valley of Death, right? and you really just, and you let yourself be strengthened by those shitty situations, you're gonna be a much, much stronger person. And that's why I wouldn't change anything if I could go back in the past. Woo! Man, what a fucking answer, dude. I think I went off on so many tangents that for most of that answer I wasn't even talking about anything related to Reed's question, so I do apologize for that, man. But hey, let's move on to the next one. We've got one more question to answer in this one. And this one is in from Jukey. Jukey says, it's a bit of a long message, this one. Jukey says, I'm 19, and I've been in a relationship with someone I love and still love for 2 years. And just last Friday, she broke up with me, and honestly, I still can't get over it. And yeah, time heals and all that bullshit, but for now, all I feel is anger, confusion, and hate. Stopping there for just a second. It's interesting, man, how, I'm glad that I answered these two questions together, because Jukey's scenario right now, he's undergoing a lot of goddamn suffering, man, like we were just talking about. And I do believe that a big part of life is just... It ain't all sunshine and rainbows, right? Yeah. I don't know what to do and have no one to really talk to. I'm just devastated because nothing makes sense. It doesn't, man. I gave her everything and it just feels like it wasn't good enough. I know maybe it's too soon to say, but I just feel like I can't give another girl the same affection I gave her because I have some serious trust issues right now. Did some kind of betrayal go on here, you know? It feels like it wasn't a very clean breakup, or maybe maybe you were like totally invested in the relationship and you thought she was someone who she wasn't. That's what it sounds like to me right now. Maybe she didn't like cheat on you or something. You mentioned trust issues. Maybe she didn't cheat on you. I don't think I'd go that far. I'm not going to draw like huge conclusions from this message because it isn't that specific, Jukey, but I'm going to go ahead and assume that you believe that she was someone who she wasn't. And you were with this girl for 2 years, man, so yeah, I can imagine it does feel pretty confusing right now, like you said. So my question for you, Cobb, is how do I motivate myself to get back out there and find the one? How can I keep myself going after all the pain I suffered knowing it can happen again? A long one, I know, but I don't know where to turn, and I know I don't know you at all, but hearing your voice gives me the slightest bit of hope. Okay, Jukey. First of all, I want to draw a little bit of attention to the phrase, how do I motivate myself to get back out there and find the one? The one, man! That's a strong phrase right there. That's a really strong phrase. And you're 19 years old, man. You're 19 years old. Some of this advice might be a little bit savage here. And I'm going to draw on the previous answer that we give to Reedz a little bit here and stuff, but I'm just going to answer this question as if you were my brother, man, because I've got a little brother. He's been in some crummy relationships, let's just say. I won't get into any details on those, of course. Not that he'd give a shit, but, you know, some of his exes might. But yeah, I tend to just savage him with advice. I just don't give a damn. And you know what? He can just fucking take it all because he's my brother, and yeah, so it's the only way I know how to answer these questions is by being savagely honest, you know what I'm saying? So, Jukey, you're 19 years old. Forget about finding the one. The one is just a concept. And it's a concept that you should only really give a damn about once you're like in your 30s or 40s and if you still haven't found somebody. Yeah, and if you're just looking for that stable relationship that you haven't been able to find yet. That's the only time you should really give a damn about finding the one. Finding the one is just a huge mathematics game. It's a numbers game, you know. Just don't over-romanticize it too much, you know what I mean? You're young. Right now you should be focusing on finding yourself. And that sounds really vague and stuff like that, I know, but honestly, you with this girl for 2 years. I mean, you're at a very, very young age to be in a relationship that was, I mean, honestly, 2 years, I'd consider that a fairly long relationship, especially for a young guy such as yourself. That means that you got with this girl when you were 17, man. That's crazy. You've still got a lot of adulting to do at this point, and to put that much emphasis on a relationship at such a young age, man, in a lot of ways, you might feel like it or might have felt like it during the relationship. But typically speaking, people who are under the age of like, fuck it man, ballpark figure here, but typically speaking, people who are under the age of like 22, or like 23, fuck it, some people like under the age of 20 even, just aren't ready at all for a relationship that is that long, and is that committed, you know, that is that hard committed. So man, the fact that you're in a relationship with this girl for 2 years is actually pretty impressive, you know, it's a testament to your character. It's a testament to the consistency of your character, man. I will reiterate again that I do believe that a big part of life is suffering, and a big part of what gives life meaning and a sense of, you know, nobility is our ability as people to overcome suffering and to wade through it and become stronger as a result. And I know that this is all just words to you right now. You're in a place where, yeah, you're just confused, you're pissed off, you feel like you invested so much and it's all come back to bite you in the ass. You probably answer yes to Reed's question right now. Reed's question, just to repeat it again, obviously. Do you regret anything in life, and do you wish to go back in time and set things right? I'm sure that right now, Jukey, you would answer yes to that question. Maybe you wouldn't. Maybe you have the strength of character to already see where I'm going to go with this. But I do believe that this situation right here is just directly relatable to Reed's question. This is the kind of thing that, yeah, you would go back and change if you could. I'm going to tell you right now that that would be a mistake. I'm going to tell you right now, man, that would be a mistake. Some of the crappy relationships I was in, I mean, honestly, I wasn't the kind of guy who fucking, you know, kind of hopped around from girl to girl or whatever. I had a few girlfriends before Sophie. You just got to think of it like this. This is the advice I give my brother, man. Fucking 95% of relationships end in a goddamn train wreck with both people fucking hating each other. Maybe not hating each other, sometimes it's amicable, but 95% of relationships just fail, man. And that's just how it is. That's just life, and sometimes life sucks. Sometimes life sucks, and the best you can do is pull yourself together and just focus on the little things. Focus on getting out of bed at the same time every morning. When you're feeling really shitty like this, man, Jukey, even doing something like that is really hard. You know what's even harder? Making yourself a decent fucking breakfast. What's even harder than that? Making sure that you don't neglect your hobbies or neglect the other people around you that all give a shit about you, right? It's the little things. Keeping your room clean. Keeping your room clean. Not neglecting the chores around the house. When you're feeling really shitty, that's the hardest thing to do in the world, but that's what you gotta do. That's what you gotta do. That's my ultimate advice. You gotta keep order in your life, man, because right now everything is going to shit. Everything is chaos, man. Like, your world has been fucking turned upside down. 2 years you invested in this relationship. That's a lot of adjusting. Your schedule was probably built around this girl. All of that is gone now, man. You're in a state of disarray. I'm assuming. You're probably in a state of disarray, so keeping as much order in your life right now is probably the best thing for you. And eventually, I'm no fucking expert on this, by the way. This is just the typical advice I would give anybody going through a crappy situation, in general. It's just not neglecting the little things. And eventually, the pain will just go. The pain will just go away. And I tell you what, man, you're 19 years old. You won't believe me right now, dude. You won't believe me right now. And I totally don't blame you, because I wouldn't have believed me if me from the future was telling me this at 19. 2-3 years from now, fuck it, man, a year and a half from now, you're gonna be such a different person, right? Because, like, I don't mean this at all to demean you, dude. Not at all, man. But anyone who is, like, under the age of 20 is just, they're still a kid. They're still a kid, man. Like, okay, maybe, like, you're in the transitionary phase at like 19, right? But you got a lot to learn about yourself. You got a lot of growing to do. And a year and a half from now, dude, you're not even gonna recognize yourself, man. You're not even gonna remember what you saw in this girl. And that's some savage advice right there, man. I know that you're probably sitting there shaking your head right now, man. But again, this is what I would tell my brother, and that's why I'm saying it right here. You got a lot of growing to do. You got a lot of adulting to do. Yeah, the best thing I think that you can do is just keep as much order in your life as possible. And I don't know really what else to tell you. I don't know whether this was a decent, coherent answer or not. I don't know whether this is the kind of answer that you were looking for. Life sucks. Situations like this suck. It's pain, it's suffering. But what gives life meaning in a lot of ways is holding your head high, keeping your shoulders back, and muscling through things like this. And eventually, yeah, you're just going to be a totally different person, and, well, that's about it. Fuck, I feel like that was a really bad answer, man. I feel like that was a really bad answer, but there it is. That's my answer, dude. I'm sorry if that sucked. I'm sorry if you just fucking don't feel any better at all after hearing that. I don't mean to be a part of your life suffering, but there it is. Alright, so thanks for watching, guys. Hope you all did enjoy this vlog. If you do have any questions for the next one, do please drop them down below. It's your questions that are going to keep vlogs like this alive, and yeah, you can make them as personal, as trolly, as mongoloided as you want. They can be about you, they can be about me, whatever the hell it is, okay? So, yeah, thanks for watching. Drop some questions down below. Oh, wait a minute. We've got some Left 4 Dead episodes. Left 4 Dead 2, man. God damn, I feel like a YouTuber of the year 2012 or something, you know, fucking playing Left 4 Dead 2. But me and Sophie, man, we played a little bit of Left 4 Dead. It was actually fucking hilarious. So I'm going to be cutting those episodes down. I'm going to be uploading those on the second channel, link to which is probably in the description. I will also be finishing off the Stellaris series as well pretty soon on the second channel. I think that either way I'm probably just going to go to like episode 30 and that, because I get the sense that it's going to be a mega long playthrough otherwise. And yeah, that's about it. Cheers up, bye everyone, and I'll see you guys in the next one.